Hey everyone, this is Terrafi, and I'm back with another commentary. Today we're going to be looking at a user called HipHopGamer, who is ranting and raving about the gaming industry as a whole. Pretty much he's blaming reviewers and the like for the Order 1886 and how it's being received. The video is not all that great, and it's an interesting piece. So let's not waste any more time and get right into this puppy.
The first thing I want to bring up is Ben Kashura from Polygon.com. Now, Ben Kashura. Ben Kashura.com. Ben Kashura, he did an article. I believe this was last year, but I believe it was last year, sometime last year. Ben Kashura did an article, and it basically encourages people to not buy a game or pre-order a game and stuff like that.
And here's where not citing your sources really bites you in the ass. I actually had to hunt down this article because for some odd reason you couldn't provide a link. And I have to say the reasoning behind him saying that is pretty damn justified.
Here's the first problem that we see in our industry today, right? See, you got these people that have their own opinion, that do reviews on these big websites that's funded by different type of companies. These people got a lot of followers because they are on this big platform, and most people don't really have a mind of their own, so they look for others to kind of guide them in their decision making.
Translation, a consumer doesn't want to spend $60 on a game that's going to turn out to be crap. I don't know if you realize this, but generally speaking, when people look towards reviews, they're trying to figure out whether or not it's a worthwhile purchase. Games are not $10. Games are not $5. I mean, some are, but those are few and far between. Games, especially AAA title games, are going to be like $50 to $60 games, and that is a lot of money to spend on something that can potentially be crap.
So, it's one thing to give your opinion on something if you don't like it or if you wasn't feeling it. That's one thing. You got a right to your own opinion. Fine. But when you encourage people to just believe in what you believe in and take it as fact, or when you encourage people to not buy a game because you think they shouldn't have it, now you are destroying the core component on why we love games in the first place and what this industry stands for.
And because you don't provide any other sources other than this one article, I'm going to have to use this article to debunk your points. Ben Kachira was not encouraging people to not buy this game. He was encouraging people to think before they decidedly pre-order Battlefield Hardline because of the crappy Battlefield launches, because of the fact that, hey, the company said that they wouldn't do like yearly releases, they wouldn't do annual releases, and then they did an annual release. That fact that it's not being developed by DICE, etc., etc., etc. He provided reasons as to why we should think twice about pre-ordering the game, and frankly, I'm on board with him on that. Frankly, I don't like pre-ordering games, but that's an entirely different issue for an entirely different video.
Everybody wants to attack. Everybody wants to be so quick to be negative. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem that we have in our industry today. Because when you go back and you turn on Super Mario Brothers back in the 80s, you wasn't thinking about, oh, you shouldn't play this game. I hate this game. They jump too small. Or the sound didn't make the... You ain't do all of that. You went, blew in the cartridge, put the game in there, and started playing. Your friends came over. Y'all was challenging each other, had a great time. Period. End of discussion.
What, you don't think people were critical of games back then? Now, I know that the internet wasn't this big thing, so reviews weren't as easily accessible at the time, but I'm pretty sure games like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde were still criticized for being crap. Or hey, E.T. Extraterrestrial for the Atari 2600, you know, that game that almost single-handedly killed the gaming industry.
So, like I said, with Ben Kashura having that energy, he was referring to Battlefield Hardline. Now, Battlefield 4 had a horrible launch, right? Even when you tried to play the game offline, they had a lot of problems, and sometimes you couldn't play your game, right? So it was horrible. People was mad and upset, rightfully so. But being negative is not going to make that situation better. It's not going to make the game get fixed faster or nothing like that. In the worst case scenario, developers, publishers, people, in the worst case scenario, when a person is down, you provide the most positivity and the most encouragement at those moments, because that's when they need it the most.
Yeah, sure, that's some great advice. If we were talking about people. We aren't talking about people, though. We're talking about a business. We're talking about a company whose sole job is to make money. And you know, when a company doesn't do their job, we have every right to criticize them for it. But since we're talking about people for some reason, when someone does something wrong, when someone knowingly does something wrong, you don't sit there, give them a pat on the back, say, there, it'll be alright. You tell them they did something wrong. I mean, yeah, once you do that, you can tell them how to improve on it and then help them if they're willing to accept that help. But for the most part, yeah, tell them they did something wrong.
When Ben Kishiro came out and said, I'm not buying Battlefield Hardline, and neither should you.
At lunch. Can't forget at lunch. That's kind of important, actually.
When that's the title of your opinion piece, you don't belong in any industry. Because you're being negative and you're not being realistic or supportive or providing critical, excuse me, or providing a critical analysis to better help the situation.
Except that's exactly what they did. They provided a critical analysis of the situation to figure out what went wrong and how it can be improved. And the only way for the situation to be improved at this point is for us, the consumers, to vote with our wallets. That is what he's saying. The entire article is sitting there going, we, the consumers, caused this problem, so we, the consumers, have to fix it. And because this person doesn't want to provide a link to the article in the description, I suppose I will.
People up here complaining and they don't even make games, don't even understand what it takes, but yet they want to be negative.
You know, I'm always going to hate this argument. I'm always going to hate the argument that, oh, you don't make games, so you can't criticize games. Or, oh, you don't write a book, so you can't criticize a book. It's ridiculous. I don't need to be a Class A chef in order to tell that the food sitting in front of me is shit. I don't need to be the world's best game developer to realize that something like Sonic 06 is broken.
That's one of the problems that we have in our industry today. That's the first thing. Second thing, Arthur Guys. He works with Polygon as well. Now, me and Arthur, we had a Twitter talk. I wouldn't call it a Twitter beef. I don't have no beef with nobody. You know what I'm saying? But we had a Twitter conversation. And he said that his job, in his job description, he has to be critical. So what does that mean? That means that any given chance or opportunity, even when there is none, I have to be critical. So that means that you can have a game where like everything worked great, there's like really no problems or no flaws, it's just a great game. But because your job is to be critical, you're going to find something to complain about, something to bitch about. You're going to try your best to tear that game down or to point out something stupid just to apply yourself and supply yourself with these bullshit tools to make sure you keep your job.
Because who looks up the definition of words anymore, am I right? Here, let me do it for you. Critical. Adjective. Expressing the adverse or disapproving comments or judgments. 2. This is the important one. Expressing or involving an analysis of the merits and faults of a work of literature, music, or arts. Merits and faults. Merits and faults.
Let's go to the racism part and being black in America and everything within the game industry. Now see, the order, when you look at this game, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people is like, that got a chance to play the retail copy, oh, the game is only 5 hours long or it's only this. Now, you know what's so funny? There's games that could be 20 hours long, and the experience could not be good. And then you got games like, for example, Life is Strange that I just finished playing, even though it was only one episode, but it wasn't no super long game in terms of that first episode, but that experience was incredible. But even better yet, PT. PT. Much love and respect to the great Hideo Kojima. But PT is a free demo of a game with amazing graphics, amazing sound that will scare the shit out of you. More so than a lot of games that's $60 on the market right now.
Okay, guys, do you see the issue here? Because I see the issue here. For those that don't see it, it's comparing apples and oranges. Okay, let's start off with Life is Strange. That is an episodic game, and that game is like $20 for like the entire season. Yes, there is only one episode of that entire season out right now, but you know what? You know that there's more content coming out. Now let's look at E.T. You said it yourself. It is a demo. It is a free demo of a game, and frankly, it's not even a demo of a game. It's just a teaser to show what they can do. And the thing is, that's free. People are bitching about the Order 1886 being only 5 hours because they spent $60 on it. You tend to expect a bit more from a $60 game.
Look at Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. $30 game for like 2 levels. But real talk, the experience, even though it's really short, the experience and what you see, happen to that girl on a plane, I'm going to just say that, no spoilers, but that experience was like, it's crazy. So it doesn't matter how long or how short, it's all about the experience. And that's what it's always been about, the experience when you play video games.
Okay. I get where you're coming from. And trust me, I get where you're coming from. The experience is more important than the price point. But the thing is, it's like, I'm not going to spend $60 for a game that's 5 hours long when I can get the same or similar experience from something that's $30 or $20. The thing is, when you're charging bigger and bigger prices for your product, you better make a bigger and bigger game. $60 for a 5-hour experience is a bit much. Especially when you have pointed out there are games out there like PT, which are fairly short, kick-ass, and are of the low price of free.
How does that relate to racism?
Shorter answer, it doesn't. Because unlike racism, people can provide justifiable reasons for not wanting to spend $60 on a 5-hour experience.
I am Queen Chrysalis, ruler of the Changelings.
The game didn't even release yet. And so many people in the industry is attacking it. You know what I'm saying? For nothing. Nothing.
Okay, so being overpriced is nothing, right? And yes, I am going to harp on this because, frankly, I shouldn't have to pay $60 for a 5-hour experience, and no one should. No one should have to spend that much money on a game that is 5 hours. And unfortunately, if everyone did what you're suggesting, effectively buying the game before the experience, then games are going to get shorter and shorter. We're going to be spending $60 for a game that's only 2 hours, 1 hour, half an hour. Doesn't matter. If we tell them that it's okay, they're going to continue doing it. They're going to continue exploiting that. You give them an inch, they take a mile. Because that's how business works.
It appears to me that a lot of people that are playing video games nowadays, they have no appreciation of what it takes to even make a game or the game industry or the culture as a whole. But you want to know why that's been developed? Because a lot of these journalists that get paid to be so-called journalists to report and talk about games are a bunch of bitches as well. They always crying about something. They always complaining about something. Oh, Destiny wasn't this. It should have been that. And blah, blah, blah. No, it shouldn't have. It should have been exactly what it was. Because real talk, that's what Bungie said.
So Destiny should have been a game with limited exploration, repetitive missions, and little social interaction. And as someone who's currently working on a game, yes, I'm working on a game, surprise, surprise, I can tell you, making a game is not easy. I can confirm that. It is not an easy process. But just because it's not easy does not forgive the poor design choices that you make when designing the game. Does not forgive the voice acting, does not forgive the story writing. Just because it's difficult doesn't mean that Sonic 06 is suddenly a good game. Or that Destiny being a lackluster experience is suddenly okay.
Brush my hair, my dear minion.
A lot of times they don't want to give us a chance. They don't take black people for the most part at face value. We got to do 20 or 40 things just to get appreciated for one. Like, it's hard. And this game is getting that type of treatment. That nasty, dirty, negative, racist type of treatment.
Actually, no, it's not. Much like you, I saw this game, I saw the trailers for this game, I saw the announcements for this game, and I was hyped. I wanted to play this game. I wanted to get a PlayStation 4. This was on my list of games that would convince me to get a PlayStation 4. Then I found out it was 5 hours. I wanted to play this game. I was willing to drop the money for not only this game, but a PlayStation 4 to play this game. But now I gotta take it off my list. Because it is a 5-hour game for $60. $60! And that wouldn't be so bad if the game had some form of replay value. But based on the research that I've been doing, it doesn't. It doesn't have any replay value, it's only single player, so what do you have? A 5-hour experience that you're only going to play once. I don't care what market you're in, it is absolutely ridiculous for a developer to charge $60 for a game that's 5 hours, cutscenes included. And then he just spends the rest of the video pretty much displaying his lack of knowledge of the gaming industry, the review portion of it included. All in all, the video was not good. It really wasn't. All it really displayed was this guy's lack of knowledge of the gaming industry as a whole, and I know I've said that. And he kind of repeats himself, and the whole racism argument, that had nothing to do with it. The analogy that I tried to put forward was garbage. And I'll put a link to the video in the description so you can watch it for yourself, but that really is what it boiled down to. He tried to make some form of analogy equating it over to racism, and because he doesn't know how the gaming industry works, it didn't work. It wouldn't have worked regardless, but it didn't work. The analogy fell flat on his face before it even left his mouth. Anyways, this is Zerturfy, signing off.